So here's all the wreath foliage that I'm going to be cutting up in a minute. I use moss for the base of my wreaths because I find it makes them last a lot longer, and it gives a bit of weight to it, which is nice. I'm actually going to be making 3 bases, so I've got a bit more than you need here for one. I'd say you probably need a quarter of this. And basically it's going to go on this wire frame. So what you do is you take a chunk of the moss and you knead it till it becomes nice and round, and you can hear the moisture in there. That's why I love moss. It really keeps the wreath nice and fresh, and you just give it little spritz and it retains the water. So it's definitely the best base for a wreath. And what you do, once you've done all your little balls like this, you wire them round the wreath. I'd say for this one you probably need about 9. So I'm going to do that now. So here's the frame, and I'm going to use this wire, which is quite thin, and what you do is you first of all tie it round the frame and just twist it round a bit so it's nice and tight on there. Okay, and then you get your first ball of moss, make sure it's nice and compact. You just wire it on and around, and then you get your next one. You do the same. You go round, around the whole, the base like that. Loop it round on the other wires at the bottom. And twist it round and tie a knot so it's all nice and tight. And there you have it. You've got your moss base, which is nice and compact and ready for the fur to go on. The fur, what you do is you cut off this top bit, then all the side bits from the branch until you're left with something like this. And what you do is every single piece has a use. This is the top bits, lovely, nice and chunky, and then you've got sort of more smaller bits that are from the bottom that are really great fillers, and then some nice longer bits from the sides. So they all can be used. In fact, if you don't need it that long, you can chop it here, and then you'll have 2 bits to use as well. So I think I'll probably need about 3 large branches to cover. Right, I've cut all my bits and they're ready to go on the wreaths. I'm going to do one now. With the eucalyptus, you can actually get quite a lot out of it if you, say for instance, you cut off a section down to here, right above this leaf here, and then you can reuse that section too. You can probably do that if you've got a really long sprig, 3 times even, because when you've cut off there, you wouldn't really notice that it's not the top. So that's a good trick of making the most of your eucalyptus sprigs. Right, they're ready to go on. So if you didn't manage to add a few sort of twists around of the wire to your initial moss base earlier, you can actually do it now. What I've done is I've just looped around, tied a knot at the back with the wire, and I'm just going to twist around it a couple of times, and I know there that I'll have a nice secure place to hold it with for either rope or ribbon or whatever you want to tie it with when it's finished. Right, so I'm going to start with the fur. So what you do is you have it at an angle like so. So hang on, let me tilt the camera a bit. Ooh. There. So you have it at sort of slight angle going across like that way. You wire it in, and you wire your next bit, and you always go across in the same direction, clockwise, down the wreath. And what I like to do actually is add in the smaller bits to the side at the same time, and bits to the edge as well, just to fill it all up. It's a good idea to divide up bigger pieces, smaller bits, and larger bits all in one area, so you know where everything is. And as you go along, you can add in your eucalyptus and wire that in, and then another sprig of fir. And always go clockwise, and always go in the same direction as the one you started with, so you get that lovely sort of curve going across, and they're all going in the same direction. And there's your base. So I might add a few of these berries in now, so you can just pop them in where you know there's wire, and it will sort of secure itself. But if you're not sure, I've left a bit of wire, it's still attached, so I might wire a few bits in if I need to. And I've also got some other dried bits that I foraged over the summer, which I actually used in my autumn wreath, and I've just reused some other bits that I purchased recently from the flower market. Ribbons, oranges. I'm not sure I'm going to be using all of that. I quite like them to be quite green. I don't really like them to be too fussy, but I'm definitely going to be using these in it. Maybe some peacock feathers, we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to pimp it up. Tweak a bit at the end, and I've just found these which I dried from a M&S bunch of flowers that I had a while ago, so I'm adding these just in subtly, just to add that little bit of colour within the wreath, and then I'll be done. I'm going to wrap around the wire just one more time where I started, tie a loop, and then that will be where I hang. I'm going to go for black ribbon, I think, the wreath on the door from. Just to add as well, I forgot them, so I'm going to add them now. I'm literally just snapping them off here and tucking them in where I can, where I know they'll hold within the wreath already. And they're slightly dry, these ones. I've sort of had them in a vase. I didn't actually plan to dry them because they were in water, but they've dried themselves and they look quite pretty, so they will do the trick. So I've loop this ribbon around the wire that I mentioned I wrap around a few times, just so it gives it a secure base to hang off. Just make sure when you wrap it around you do it underneath all the foliage, when you do it at the ends, that doesn't push anything down too much. So that will be nice and secure on the door now for when I hang it.